Since the war in Syria began in 2011, there have been two simultaneous battles going on. The battle between the Syrian Arab Army versus militant groups backed by regional and Western powers, and the battle between the Western mainstream narrative and the narrative presented by alternative media and independent journalists like Eva Bartlett.
Have like CNN, or you'll have The Guardian or the BBC or whomever label people like myself as fake news, also conspiracy theorists and all these other terms. But on the other hand, as time has shown, it's been their reporting that has been largely fake news, or quite frankly, war propaganda and lies.
Everything I've seen in Syria, what is reported here does not resemble the reality that I've seen on the ground. And the fact of the matter is that the suffering of the majority of the people inside Syria, their reality, their experience of all that they've suffered at the hands of the terrorist groups has never been reported. So that everything that is reported that we hear about in the West, about Syria, is from one narrative, one perspective, very often from sources that are actually linked to extremist, even al-Qaeda-linked groups.
The Syrian Arab Army units have liberated Eastern Ghouta, the majority of the Aleppo province, and are currently locked in battle to liberate Idilb, a place described by Brett McGurk, a former US envoy to Syria, as, quote, the largest al-Qaeda safe haven since 9/11. We asked Eva Bartlett what she thought of the mainstream media's coverage of these key battles in Syria.
It's incredible to think that Turkey, whose presence in Syria is illegal and who have been literally arming terrorists and working alongside terrorists, fighting against the Syrian army, against Syrian civilians, that media outlets are supporting Turkey in their narrative, right? And of course, but we see this every time an area is being liberated. We see a surge in the war propaganda, a surge in reports about hospitals being attacked.
At a press conference hosted by the Journalist Support Committee, Eva argued that the mainstream media has lost a great deal of credibility over its reporting on Syria. An example she cited was when a senior international correspondent for CNN, Arwa Damon, put her face and sniffed a backpack allegedly exposed to a chemical weapon attack. The video was widely criticised and ridiculed on social media because many felt the journalist was being disingenuous, as it would be extremely irrational to sniff anything suspected of being exposed to sarin gas. The mainstream media plays a pivotal role in how the Western public perceives conflicts around the world. But independent journalists like Eva Bartlett argue that these media outlets are misleading their audiences, and often their reporting is more reflective of Western foreign policy interests rather than the facts on the ground. Ahmed Kabela, Press TV, London.